Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel for another card tutorial for Nitwit Collections. So today I'm making another Valentine card. So I've already shown you a Bellissima one using the Bellissima kit from Nitwit for my split stepper card, which I've got to say seems to have gone down the storm. Loads of you have shared your versions with me in my Facebook group called Paper Crafting with Paul. So if you're not a member, head to the description below and you'll see a link to my Facebook group and to Nitwit Neighbourhood, which is the Nitwit Facebook group as well. And as you can see, we've just got a regular 5x7 card here. And we're using the Nitwit Gnome Valentine this time. Some lovely background papers. Let me show you some of the details. Now, the light isn't the best today, but hopefully, you can see the colours when I tilt it there. So when I got a face on for you to see it, you can't really see, but when the light hits, you can see the bright, bold colours on this one. So it's a really fun kit. And this one is called an extended pop-up, because when you open it up, you don't just get one, but you get these 3 elements popping up. Now, I have made a birthday one of these. I don't have it because I gave it to the recipient. So I thought I'd show you, with Valentine coming up, a little Valentine version. But as I said, it can be Christmas, it can be birthdays, it could be any occasion. But it's just that little wow factor of when you open it up, that you get this extending pop-up. And it looks complicated, but hopefully, once you see the tutorial coming up, you'll think, I can do that. And I'm really looking forward to your versions. So, without waiting any longer, let's get started. So I'm going to start today by just making the base elements. So it's a 5x7 card, but I'm going to cut my cardstock in a specific way just to make things a little bit easier. So I'm not going to cut the 5x7 or the 10x7 piece quite yet. From the bottom, I'm going to cut a piece 1 1/4 inches. I've got the short piece across the top. And so I've cut a 1 1/4, it's quite long, by 9 inches. So this is 1 1/4 by 9 we want to keep. And then from the other edge, I'm going to cut a piece which is 1 inches. Right? So this is going to be 1 by 4 1/4. Now the length doesn't matter so much. You can go 4 1/2. I'm going to stick to my original sizing. And then with that big piece, it's already cut a 7 inches because we took a 1 1/4 off the bottom. So I'm just going to score this, or cut this at 10. The scoring is going to come up later on. There we go. Oh, and we also need to cut 3 pieces of our cardstock at 3 inches. So cut this at 3, and then if I do 9, and 6, and 3. There you go. And we can put that trimmer to the side. So we've got our card base, our pop-up element, our mechanism which makes it pop up, and 3 3-inch squares. So the 3-inch squares, I don't need to do anything with, so I can put them aside. And let's do the card base first then. 10 inches across the top, score at 5. So it's just a regular 5x7 piece of card, or 5x7 card blank. There we go. Set that aside. This element is this popping up bit, which we attach our 3-inch squares to. Now the measurements I've worked out quite simply. So it's 1, 4, 5, and 8. So 1, 4, 5, 8. And this one is now the mechanism. So it's a little bit trickier, but still quite easy. So I'm going to score a mark at the 1 inch. So I've got the 4 1/4 across the top, or you can just use your pencil and mark 1 inches there. And then we flip it over and we're going to mark the 2 inches. Now, obviously, of course, you're not going to see that, but if I do this score line, I should be able to then mark it there. I'm just marking with pencil for you to see it. The little score line will do fine as well. And what we're going to do is connect this corner, the first line and the bottom line, as a triangle. So I go to the last channel and I'm going to line up the corner of my cardstock and the opposite, the 1 inch score mark. So just move it to there and score. There we go. And then the 2 pencil lines, so the 1 inch and the 2 inch into that channel and score. So what we have then is a triangle. And I'm going to score them into valleys. Oh, sorry. Into valleys. There we go. In fact, I may end up changing. Oh, hang on. It doesn't really matter because you just can flip it over. So it's got to point down. Yes, like that. So it's 2 mountains. So with your triangle pointing down, I had to think for a second then. Triangle pointing down, this comes a mountain and a mountain. So they've folded upwards. So what will happen is when we put it in here, that's right, it'll come up. Yeah, that's correct. Double checking. So in fact, I'm going to put my double-sided tape on there now whilst I remember. So with your arrow pointing down, this will flip underneath and glue. So I'm going to put some tape on there just so I remind myself this is the way it goes. So just putting some tape inside that triangle. Let's grab my scissors. And let's just grab a little bit more just to go onto that corner. So it's all glued down. There we go. So that's the mechanism. So let's now move on to this long 9-inch one. So you've got the 1 inch, your 4 inch, your 5, and your 8. So what you've got is just a rectangle like that. We're just going to stick that down. So I'm using some nice strong tape. This is the Cool Cat's Sticky Paws, and it is an extra. So you want your red liner tape, but this is so much easier to work with than red liner. Let's just take it off, and I'm just gonna, so I've got the glue on the top, just make it into the rectangle. So now all our pieces are constructed. 1, 2, 3, our rectangle, our triangle mechanism, and our card base. So before you assemble your card mechanism, you will want to decorate the base. Now the right hand side, you don't want to put too much on because that's where your mechanism is going to go. Left hand side, I have put a space for a sentiment down low. So these are then just mats and layers, 1/4 inch shorter than my, that one's upside down, than my card base. So it's 4 3/4 across and 6 3/4 tall. And I'm going to glue these down. One here. And one here. So with this one, my pink layer is, as I said, 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Then my patterns paper is 4.5 by 6.5, just matted. So I've done mine digitally, so it's nice and flat. If you are using a paper kit, you could still do that bit. And then let's do the front while we're at it. So again, I've digitally used the Nitwit's Gnome Valentine, and I've just made it match the inside. And just use some of the toppers. So again, you can decorate the front as you wish. There we go. And now we're going to start the mechanism. So we've got our piece, which has got that triangle in it, with some tape on the left-hand side. Now it's up to you if you want to decorate this now. So I've printed off a 1-inch strip. Sorry, no, it's 3/4 of an inch strip of the patterns paper. And I'm just going to mark it. I can't see my marks at the moment. Let's have a look. It's just at that red. So the triangle there, it's going to come up just past that leaf. So there's the triangle piece. I can put it there. And this is just sort of going to camouflage our mechanism a little bit. If you don't mind your mechanism showing, that's fine too. And then this is already cut at that angle. I'm not too worried about the length because I'm not going to see it all, because the rest of the mechanism is going to cover it, or sorry, our topper is going to cover it anyway. So there we go. Now I'm going to take off this tape. And that little corner one, let's just, there we go. And I'm going to put some glue just in case I have to move it later on. Hopefully I won't need to. So what I'm going to do now is bring in one of my toppers. So if I want my topper to line up nicely there, I'm going to line the bottom of this mechanism with that topper. So it needs to be nice and straight. There we go. Now I'm going to tuck this back, and I'm going to use the bottom of my triangle to line up with the score line of my cardstock. Then I open it up, so I haven't pressed it down yet, and I'm just going to line it up straight. There we go. So it's been glued just by this little triangle. There, just that little triangle. I've lined up the right-hand side with the right-hand side of my card. Sorry, lined it up with the center score line, making sure I've got room for my topper to go there. Now that on its own is not going to do anything. So I'm just going to place that on top there, and I'm going to do a little line. So I've lined up the bottom of this element with the bottom of my mechanism, because I don't want my glue to go any higher than that. So inside there, I'm going to put my double-sided tape. And lift it up. This will be the bottom then. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the bottom. So let's take off that top part. And I'm going to line that up. Don't worry about that pencil line, because later on it's going to be covered anyway. And then you can lift it over. The whole mechanism will come down. There we go. Let's take off the bottom now. And when I lift that up, it's going to stick the base of our mechanism, that part of the mechanism. So it looks like it's sticking out, but what's important is when we bring it in, that it goes down like so, and it's not sticking out. There we go. But by measuring this earlier, I knew that wasn't going to stick out. So now it's a case of, I've got these 3-inch squares. So the top of our mechanism, this bit is also 3 inches. This is how it's all working out, see? I'm going to put some tape on that one. So it'll keep it in place for now. And before we do that, let's bring in. So our squares are 3 inches, which means I've made 3 toppers, which are 2 3/4 inches. So you could do this with your paper kit. There's one. And we've got 2 of the gnomes as well. These Valentine gnomes are so cute. So this is the second Valentine card I'm doing for Nitwit. And the first one is using Bellissima, which had a very different feel. This one is more fun and joking and cartoony. The other one was very browns and reds and sumptuous. Depends which way you want your Valentine to go. Of course, this card would suit any occasion. I've made a birthday one. Right, so now I'm going to stick this one with the gnome, just centralizing in the card and butting it up against my mechanism. And now I'm going to glue the mechanism. So I've got the tape there ready, and I'm going to put the sentiment there. So I'm going to lean it against my base topper, and I'm sticking it onto that part. And now, I should have done this. No, it didn't matter. I can put it on here. I forgot to put the tape on the top. And I'm going to place that on top there. So you've got this tower of the three-inch square toppers. But of course, if you wanted them wider, that's fine. But you've got to stick to the height, because that's how tall our mechanism was made. And now, when you bring it back, you will see it sort of zigzags itself in. And as you open it, it's going to extend and pop. And the more you play with it, the smoother the action will become. Hopefully you enjoyed that fun card. Now, when I started making it, the light was still, I'm sorry, it has gone a little bit dark now. But hopefully you can still see how much of a fun card this can be. So thank you for watching. I will add links to my Facebook group, so if you have a go, you can share your version with me. It's called Paper Crafting with Paul. Just type in Paper Crafting with Paul into your Facebook search, or have a look in the description below, so it's showing you some of the details in the background papers. But yeah, the light has really gone this time, but you could see it when I leaned that way. So yeah, so can't wait to see your versions, what sort of themes you're going to come up with. And if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because I've got lots more stuff coming out. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.